Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're taking a look through another batch of vintage Penguin paperbacks. These are all about from 1954, 1955 and encompass the numbers around the 1000th Penguin. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay then, so kicking off, this is amazingly the 16th Penguin main series video that we're going to be filming, and it's taken 16 videos to do the first 1000 books with a few sort of extras and spin-offs and things like that. So that'll be a bit of a guide for the next 1000. And yeah, this is the Immaterial Murder Case, 1954, Julian Simmons, and 989 this one. It's got a name inside there, but apart from that, that's not a bad one at all. Daughter of Time, this is a great one by Josephine Tay. Got a little retrospective of Josephine Tay in vintage paperback, sort of planned towards the end of November. That'll be over on the main channel. Blood Upon the Snow. That's alright, it's got a bit of pencil at the top there. Yeah, it's quite delicate this. It's been through the ringer, I think, with the second-hand shops. There we got that little 10pence off. This though is very, very delicate. It's already been sort of torn and rubbed a bit too roughly. You see how loose it is there? This is quite delicate. I'm just sort of stroking it quite gently. Yeah, bits come off there in actual fact. It's not the end of the world. It's really brittle. It's really, really brittle. I think it's probably had multiple prices and maybe a name along there as well. And then it's been quite roughly rubbed out, but that doesn't look too bad in all honesty. But it's not an A1 copy, but it's not bad. I will put it on the upgrade list just in case. So that's 991 Blood Upon the Snow. Mind a better one of that. But you know, when we get post 1000, I'm not too worried about these. And that one's got a bit of a, look at this, it's just coming off. It's spineless. But that's all right. We get that from time to time with this period of book. So, but we should be able to reglue that without any trouble at all. And that's exactly why we're doing this. Yeah, apart from that, it's fine. So we're going to be quite generous with the old Mr. Prittstick here. But this is hardly a complicated repair, but you might want to do it just to give your penguins that extra bit of life and keep them as nice as possible. So I'll do it along the spine. I'll do it just actually directly onto the cover, inside cover of the book here, so the two have got something to marry against. And we'll just pop them in. This is only Prittstick. It's not exactly. It's just a decent paper glue. Main thing is get it in position. Then we'll squish it all down. A little bit of glue popped out the top there, but that's okay. We've got that. Keep it quiet, said Richard Hull. There we are. So it's just been read a few times, but in actual fact it's not too bad. A little bit of wear, but you know, definitely a keeper. Well, one of my favourite books ever, and one of my favourite penguins. It's Day of the Triffids. So I've got a couple of copies of this one because, as I said, it's just one of my favourites. This was my original one from a long, long time. I had this one for many years. I see it's got a few pencil marks in. I said this, none of these would have ever been through the cleaning process. This is all brand new. Just see if I can get in there as well. Yeah. Still leaving a little mark. the first printed Dare the Triffids, because it became a bestseller, is actually not that easy to find, in all honesty, particularly in nice condition. I mean, it really is a tougher one to find in nice nick. There's a few marks there. I'm not 100% sure if they're in pencil or pen. It looks like they were pencil. So I've had a few copies through my hands, but this was my original one from when I, sort of first started collecting penguins. And if there was one book I wanted to get in Penguin First Edition, it was Triffids. So that's my original one. Now I have got this one, which is an upgrade. It's a much better copy, but it has got a darkened spine, which my original hasn't. However, it's a much better, more robust copy of it. A bit of tanning there, but even so, it's a much tidier copy of the first printings. So I've kept both. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that other one. This is the reprint. As I got a few editions of this. This is the only vintage ones I've got. There is a middling one. There's like a late 60s one, which I wouldn't mind picking up. And then I've got more modern editions, which are in B format. But once again, that's absolutely fine. A couple of little blotches, but nothing too bad at all. I've got a couple of PG Woodhouses now. This was such a great run for Penguin, I think, at this sort of period, the mid-50s. They were at the top of their game, in terms of design, the quality of the books as well. I think they were just tip-top quality, the way that they were produced. And this is still a beautiful book to read nowadays. It's just so good on the eye, good in the hand. They look good, and well, it's a little bit of history. You wouldn't think that was 69 years old now, would you? Incredible, really, absolutely incredible. Ricey Man Steps 996. So I've got them complete up to 1,000, bar just 2 copies nowadays. But after 1,000, it starts to get a bit patchy, because I haven't actively tried to start tracking down the second 1,000 penguins. So I've got, for each 100, to say, 1,001 up to 1,100 and 1,101 up to 1,200. Those ones I've got about 60 out of the 100, but after that I've got about 50 per 100, if that makes sense. So lots and lots to still find. But I try, on the whole, I've tried to be a bit pickier post number 1,000. I've tried to. It's not always easy. Particularly if you go to a show and it's the only thing you manage to find, then you want to come away with something at least. But I try and be a bit pickier post 1,000, because they are out there with a bit of patience. So, well, we'll see as we go along what sort of nick they're in. Journals of Arnold Bennett. This one's a little on the worn side, number 999. Huge books. Yes, all right. It's a little bit aged. I'm half tempted. Yeah, I'm going to put that on my upgrade list. That one, 999. The Journals, Arnold Bennett, and then we got, well, the milestone, really. Penguin 1000. So once again, this is my original one that I probably found out in the wild. They went to town with the logo and the number there. Edward Young, of course, was the chap who designed the original Penguin logo back in 1935, and he became a decorated submarine commander during the war. That was his wartime service, and he did very, very well. So that's my original one, and this is sort of a more collector's one, shall we say. I think it's still the first printing. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, so I don't think it's particularly scarce, the 1,000th Penguin. It's just a nice sort of iconic milestone issue, Penguin 2000 was the New English Bible, and Penguin 3000 was Ulysses, which we will get to see in good time. So that's those ones. So what we'll do, as we do each sort of pile, I'll flip them over and I'll give them all a brush as we go along. This is just going to take that dust off. So they're not bad. Obviously, it's just this top edge that tends to pick up dust and dirt, but that's, you know, absolutely fine. That's how it is. And I'll pick them up in pinches of about 4 books at a time. But yeah, the books published around this sort of period are just great. They really are, and it's, you know, they're quite common, really. There's lots of copies out there. There's a few that are worth more than others. You know, things like Animal Farm or, you know, Dare the Triffids we just saw. But on the whole, the books aren't expensive, and they're just, you know, if you can find them in really nice condition, they still make fantastic reads, as good as anything you could buy today in a lot of cases. The only thing I think that would be different today is these books would be in B format rather than the traditional A. And as much as I like to read B format, I still love to read A. That's my preferred size, shall we say. But yeah, I've brought down a whole box of Penguins for us today. Do another box, another shelf done. But we're not even halfway through the main series yet, so there's still an awful long way to go. There we are. So that's up to number 1000. So let's slide them out of the way. Got my next little wedge over here. So we're going to go away with immediately with 1003. So there's a 1001, 1002, not in the collection. Straight away up to now 1003. But that's how it's going to be now. We're going to be a little bit more patchy post 1000, because my target was always to get the first 1000 initially. But nowadays it's anything so pre-1969, before ISBNs came in really with Penguin, and I collect all the series, you know. I just love them that much. It's 1005, The Tongue-Tied Canary. Blimey. Still 1954. The Man with My Face. Oliver Onions, what a name, eh? This is one I remember having a long time ago. It's funny, some of these books I haven't seen for so long. Yeah, I pick them up and I sort of remember where I picked them up. Not perhaps when, but I remember the bookshop that they came from, or sometimes the jumble sale and things like that. It's weird. It's a nice copy, number 1012. With these big thick ones, trying to find them in this nice condition with an unbroken spine is difficult. It's as simple as that. So when I come across them, I'll always pick them up if they're in really tip-top shape like that. The Hucksters, 1014. But that's the good thing about Penguins. There is literally so many that you can always be looking for more. And you could, even if you complete the first 1000, I'm going to be looking for perhaps 10% of those I'm going to want as upgrades. It's the same with the Pan books. I have completed like the Pan numbered series, so I don't need to find any more of them. But I estimate of the 400 published, about 40 are needed for upgrades. You know, look at this. So not one, not two, but 3 by the look of it. 3 Orriston and Turnchapel Steamboat. And that's quite near where I live. Orriston is over in something called Plymstock. 4p, 3p, and another 3p one there. Look at that. So evidently someone was getting on the little boat which would go from Plymouth over to Orriston. How cool is that? So that these probably date from when this book was published, which was in the 1950s. That's probably the original owner's copy. I love little stuff like that, particularly when it's like local interest, you know. Maui Slope. It's a 9 density. I want to look at this one. You can see straight away, look at the waves on it. That has got wet. down the bottom it's particularly bad. So I don't like books that have been sort of wet like that, and it clearly shows the damage. So 1019 Maui Slope, Keith West, upgrade please. On the face of it, on the spine it's not too bad, but yeah, not great on closer inspection. This one's got a tear on the front jacket, but a sticker removal mark, but overall not too bad. It's got a spine's all right, so that won't hurt too much. Sir John McGill's Last Journey, Freeman Wills Crofts. A little pencil on the back cover there for us to grab in a minute. Unusual place to find a pencil mark, to be honest. Quite stubborn as well. It's coming off, but it's quite stubborn. You still see it there. It's quite faint. Maybe it was a pen, but come on, off you come. There we are. Thank you, Sir John McGill. Here's a run of, well, I've got 4 Robert Graves. They probably released 5, and I'm probably missing one, but Wife to Mr. Milton. The Robert Graves that I've read has been really, really good, and he is a great author. He's one of those ones, he's sort of on my list to read a bit more, but not at the top of the list, if you know what I mean. He's one of the ones an author I've acknowledged. My mum really liked him as an author. In fact, I think she studied him a little bit, that's when she sort of studied English. And he is a great writer from what I hear. But I've only ever read the Claudius books, so. And these are a pair, the Greek Myths 1 and 2. Really, really great little set. This unusual with the brown colouring in the series. Often sold as a pair. You don't usually find these as individual volumes, but I know Penguin were very pleased when these got published. Big, thick old books. Yeah, got the Labours of Hercules there. The 12th Labour, the Capture of Cerberus. Good stuff, eh? Yeah, a companion to the to the Penguin Classics is what they've called them. Ian Forster, another author who I really like, in actual fact, and I bet you this one's good. Collected short stories. He didn't write that many short stories, and this is, I bet you this is excellent. Separate, a brand new introduction as well, which is nice, isn't it? And there they are. Now, someone's actually ticked the short stories that they've read, which I won't chide them too much, but it does mean I'm going to need to carefully rub those out. You sort of find this sometimes with compilations, is that people keep a little track of the ones that they've read, and that's fair enough, I suppose, but surely you could just use a bookmark, you know? But I'm sure they didn't think that 70 years later, someone would be coming along, rubbing out their little ticks and filming the process at the same time. Now, where else did we see? Was it just that? Do we see any more writing in this? I can't remember. No, there we are. So that's absolutely fine. Yeah, really, really nice, that. 1031. This is Joyce Carey, 1033. Herself surprised. Well, she was indeed surprised. There we are. And then the last one on this stack is an H.E. Bates, The Jacaranda Tree. Lovely. Okie doke. Right, let's give these a brush. Okay, let me dig my brush out. Lovely. Quite a dirty top on that one in the middle there. There we are, so that's the second pile done. Now we'll go straight on to the third pile. Now I have had an idea, because we've been getting through most of my that's got some spine roll on it. Most of my non-Penguin and Pan books have been done now, bar more modern hardback first editions, and a run of softback hardbacks as well. So we've still got those to go through, but then it's really just going to leave Penguin, Pelicans, some of the smaller Pelican or Penguin series, and Pan books. So what I thought I'd do, because I think it will be of interest, is I'm going to put my main monthly sort of pickup videos once a month. I'm going to put them on this channel as well, but I'm not going to include all the new books that I pick up, which are like review copies and stuff I've been sent to read and make videos on, but just the cleaning and repairing of the older second-hand books. So I'm going to do those, so it'll be a slightly different video to perhaps what you've seen on here before, because a lot of it is sort of like commentary in effect about where I got the books and things like that, but I think you'll still find it interesting. And ultimately the books do need to be cleaned, so I think it's going to be quite a decent addition to this channel basically. So so I will sort of cross-post a version of my regular pickups from my main channel on this channel, but without all the new stuff. So look out for the first part of that in probably a week or two's time. I'll sort of release them around the same sort of time. There we are. I'm just thinking, this one with the really rolled spine, I think I'm going to put that on my wants list, so as an upgrade. So 1040, the DA calls it murder. Earl Stanley Gardner needs an upgrade. Not surprising, you know, it's these crime books, they get read and reread because they're that good. Aldous Huxley, Mortal Coils, five stories by Huxley. What a beautiful edition this is as well. Oh, just fantastic. I bet that's really good. I need to read that one. And here's perhaps his most famous one, Brave New World. Now this one has got a water tide line along the top. Let's see how bad it is inside. Well, it just affects the front cover really. Apart from that, it's really nice. So yeah, what a shame. Nothing we can really do about this. Someone spilt like a layer of tea or something on it. Look. That top actually is a bit scratchy. We might be able to do something with that. So something splashed on the top. The rest of the book's really sharp. So we'll see how... I think while we're here, we're going to give this a bit of a special brush. Just see if it does make any difference to this. cleaned a little bit of that. Yeah, I wonder what that was. Probably a splash of coffee or something like that, you know. It's a shame because it is a key book, so it's one that I feel I ought to put on my wants list, because I'm gonna want a better one for that. I don't mind Aldous Huxley. So 1052 Brave New World. Upgrade required. But until that upgrade comes along, I'm more than happy to have that copy. The Rod of Anger. Oh, blimey. Doesn't sound good, does it? And we are on to 1955 now. Now this one I've got a couple of copies of again. So this is the original one. How do you pronounce that name? Gabrielle Chevalier. Gabrielle Chevalier. So this is the original Penguin edition, I believe. Yeah, that's the first from 1955. And then this one is a reprint, but it's got one of those games covers, you know. It's the when they did a little experiment where they published about 30 odd books with covers, in a way as a response to Pan Books with their illustrated jackets. So they got a noted designer, Abraham Games, in to design the covers. He actually drew some of them or painted some of them. So this is the 1959 reprint. And I think and this one actually is a cover illustration by Abraham Games. So he actually did that particular one. Usually the Games one he actually signs, but I can't see a signature on that one. Anyway, it's got a little £2 inside. The Games covers, because there's only about 30 of them, are actually collected in their own right. And Penguin Collectors Society have done a dedicated guide to collecting them, with some input from James's daughter, Abraham James's daughter. I'm definitely going to be filming a dedicated video, and in actual fact, quite recently I picked up about 20 Games covers all in one hit, and I've got some more that I'm picking up at the end of this month, and then I'm going to go through and I think I'll have them all by maybe one or two, and I'm going to obviously upgrade my own personal copies, and then I'm going to have a nice batch of spares, which I've got a couple of collectors who are quite interested in getting some of those. Often you see them at absolutely ridiculous prices, like £10 to £15 a pop, and I admit that some of them are scarce, but they should never be more than a few pounds each, really. But there you go. Right, William Faulkner, another author I really like. That one's got a little stamp at the top, which we won't be able to do anything, but it's got an 879 down the bottom. So that's probably when the previous owner last read it. It was August 1979. And it's got a little June 55 stamp in the top. Yeah, nice copy of that one. Todd Claymore, Appointment in New Orleans. 1061. Turned over page there. Can't be having that, can we? How very dare they? Some writing in there which you're going to need to tackle in a minute. Some pencil writing across there. Yeah, okay. Let me see if that actually says somebody's name. Cornwall, July 55. That'd be the original owner there. A little bit of a ghost from the book's past, but someone's already attempted to rub most of it out, and I'm just going to finish the job with my nice soft art rubber here. Really is a great rubber for pencil. It did write very, very firmly. Okay, elements of a price in the top right corner as well. So this book had all sorts of graffiti on it at one point. Thankfully, it was all in pencil. It's got some rubbings right in the edge of the spine there. Right, I think we've got everything. God, what a mess. What a mess. All for an appointment in New Orleans. So that's one that almost certainly, you know, I've picked up at a boot sale. I might have picked it up in a charity shop. It's definitely been around the houses a little bit before it ended up in my collection. That Yew Tree's Shade, Sir Hair. So it's got the ghost of a pound in the top right corner as well. Sometimes you just get a feeling about something stuck on the inside of the spine. A Hemingway, To Have and Have Not. Wouldn't mind a better copy of this, to be honest, because I really, really like Ernest Hemingway. So I'm going to put this as an upgrade, because this is really spine rolled. So 1065 To Have and Have Not, Hemingway. Another one here. Oh, look at that. I think I spotted another bus ticket or something like that. Sometimes you get tube tickets and things like that. I'm sure I saw one there. Maybe I imagined it. Oh, no, I didn't. Look at this. The PMT Company Limited, a single, 9pence, November the 8th. What does it say on the back? This ticket is issued subject to the rules and regulations in the company's official timetable. The Ball Punch Company. Ah, okay. It doesn't say where it's come from. That's a shame, isn't it? There's no clue as to where it's come from. But look at that. That's 4 tickets we found today. It's nuts, isn't it, what you would find in, or what you do find in books sometimes. Anyway, that was just about on the borderline, but it'll do. And this is another one, not particularly A1, but I'm sure these aren't difficult to find, these Hemingways. Alan Davis. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be able to get better ones of those over time. A Father Brown here, G.K. Chesterton. The Incredulity of Father Brown. The modest little priest returns from retirement to solve many puzzling cases. Right, another G.K. Chesterton here, Maisie Ward. Another one's a little bit of a state here. Big thick book. It's borderline, but I'm going to let it slide for now. Here's a great one, The Moonstone. Very, very nice indeed. Real classic crime on this, and a handsome penguin edition of it to boot. Very, very nice that way. And we've seen, this is one of those transitional ones where the cover design gets the 2 bands down there rather than what we've been looking at across the centre, like that, for example. But we're looking at these in numerical order, not in exact published order. just ever so slightly different. Right, so remember I was telling you, I can remember where I picked up some of these books from. This one I remember picking up when I voted one year, probably back in the 1990s, and I had to cast my vote in a little church hall just down from where I lived, and they had a box of books, and I thought, well, God, I can't believe it. They had a little box of books. I thought I'd take a look on my way out, and lo and behold, they had a copy of the Crack and Wakes, and this is the one. This first print is still the one that I've kept all these years. It's a really, really nice copy. I had to put a little donation in the church fund of £1 or something. But look at that. Can you believe it? This is like the 5th ticket we found today. I wonder if we can see where this one's from. Plymouth Joint Services, so it's local to me, and it looks like, well, they've done, it's 4p, and they've stamped the number 14 there. Brilliant, look at that. Little ad on the back. Wonderful free gifts. Ardath, a jolly time cigarette, Don't you know? Look at that. Look at what we've got today. All these little tickets. Ferry tickets and a couple of, I assume that's a bus ticket. It's brilliant, isn't it? If you collected tickets, you'd be in today. You think, what an episode, Jules, What an episode. Here's a reprint, because John Wyndham's one of my favourite authors. I've got the later printing with this detailed jacket on, one I particularly like. There is one other like Triffids. There's a late 60s one with like a photo jacket. It's really funky, very much of its time, and one I'd still like to pick up a nice copy of. And this is another one which we'll have 2 copies of. This is The Night Runners of Bengal, John Masters. So this was that original one, I believe. This is the original from 1955. It's got a little bit of ghost pricing in the top corner here that I'm going to just tackle. There we go. And then there's another one. This was also re-released in the games covers. Now, thankfully, although I've got this one here, I have actually picked up an upgrade to this one, which hasn't been cleaned yet. I'm going to do that. That's actually my very next video. Is going to be my monthly pickups video, and I'm going to be cleaning it. And I picked up a brand new one of this. Well, not brand new, but a more up-to-date one. So in better condition. So this is, unfortunately, quite a bit rough. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue just down the bottom of the spine there, just to keep this smidgen of cover in place. As I said, I've got a few friends in the penguin collecting community who are seeing what doubles I've got, and I'll just do them cheap and cheerful for them because they're good eggs, And they appreciate a good book, a good penguin. There we are. So it's just popping that back into a little semblance of order. But some of these, I think this is probably one of the harder ones to find because it's not the first print, it's a reprint, you see. So not every penguin collector would have even bothered to pick it up unless they knew all about the game's covers. So it's one of those ones, any of those are worth, I think, picking up. And a couple more here before we do the last lot of brushing. So we can all look at this. Shear the black sheep and take off that £3. £3, blimey. Don't remember where I got this one, but it may have come from a dealer, possibly, or a second-hand bookshop, and I was once again struggling that day to find something, so I stumped up a bit more than I ordinarily would pay. But to be honest, on a book that's 70 years old and in reasonably decent shape, which this one is, £3 isn't the end of the world, is it? And then the last one we've got is here, before we brush them down, Barchester Towers, a classic really, from Trollope. Big thick book, pretty nice shape, that one. Yeah, pleased with that. Now that was 1079. Right, so I shall just clear the decks and we'll give this last lot a brush down. Right then, here we go. So give this last little pile the brush down. So I hope you've enjoyed this latest batch of penguins. I certainly have. Been a while since I've filmed any, but since we're coming to near the end of some of the other stuff, the penguins and pans videos are going to be much more prevalent as we work our way through them, but that's not a bad thing because I love going through them. As I said, I'm going to be putting more and more of my cleaning videos from my other channel onto this one now. Certainly all my monthly pickups, so there'll be at least one pickup video a month over here now, going forward, starting with the very latest one. So if you're not too fussed about all the new books that I pick up, you will be able to at least watch the cleaning of the old stuff, as it were. And as I said, I haven't ruled out cleaning toys. The idea seems to be fairly well received, you know, cleaning old boxes of action figures and things like that, predominantly giving them a polish and a bit of a dust off before I get round to selling them, because I just can't keep all the old toys that I've got now. It's just getting ridiculous, and I prefer to have the space ready to pop into like a more of a dedicated library, which is my sort of long-term plan now. Possibly be moving house, and if we can find the right place, I shall build a dedicated library. So that is going to be fantastic, but there won't be a lot of room for toys. I'm going to keep obviously some of the stuff that I collect going. It's things like my corgi club and old Matchbox toys. They don't take up a lot of room, you see. They're just a few display cases. But when you've got boxes and boxes of Star Wars toys and Simpsons toys and all the rest of it, and it's just stuck in the loft in box, I sort of think, what's the point of having it? Because I just can't enjoy it. So I'm just going to get a shot of it, film it, so we got one last like record of it, and let it go to another collector, I think. Anyway, thank you for watching today. A slightly shorter video than usual. It's only about 40 odd minutes, but it just depends what we had to do. It was another whole box load of old penguins. If you've enjoyed the video, do please give it the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you've not already, for once a week book cleaning content. And I shall look forward to seeing you again in another week with some more book cleaning action. Bye.